What's up? Welcome to the Storytime Podcast Season 1. I'm Tim Green.
I'm Adam.
And we're going through my first novel I ever wrote, Angelic Wars, Legend of the Godchild. Angelic Wars, Books 1. And we're going through it. We are on Chapter 13, right? 13. If you haven't gone and listened to the rest of the podcast, you might want to go do that so you get caught up with the story. Or listen to this, see if you can figure out the story, then go listen to all the other stuff. This is an interesting chapter.
Yes.
We'll get to it in a second before we get to Adam's reading of Chapter 13. Before we get there, we got a few things we got to take care of first. First off, if you like this or go on to like it, we'd love it if you hit that note, smash that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm. And subscribe because I got writing content on this channel. And if you at some point get bored and want some bad gameplay, go check out Adam's channel.
ZOP Gaming.
Yep, you can check that out over there. They're just the worst.
We are amazingly mediocre.
Amazingly, and you are pros.
We put the quotes in pro.
Yes, quote unquote pros. But okay, with that all out of the way, we'll get to reading of chapter 13. 13, chapter 13, and then we'll come back and discuss the chapter.
Chapter 13, to the rescue. So, that is Dr. Toller's house, Natalie said as she turned onto the driveway of his property. I guess he made a lot of money as a former archaeologist and president of a college. 2 hours had passed since Cyrus left her in the motel room in Oneonta. She was still not sure of what to make of what she was told was going on. All she knew was that she was not going to let her younger sister stay in an evil man's house any longer. After using the money Cyrus left, she bought some food and water. Natalie called a cab to bring her back to Red Creek. After looking at Dr. Toller's address online at her house, she had the cab take her part way. The last half mile she walked. It was around noon when she reached his driveway. As she stood at the entrance of the man who wanted to kill her, Natalie realized she had no clue where in the house they might be keeping Kiana, or how she was going to rescue her. At that time, she heard a car coming up the road, so she ran across the property into the woods that surrounded the backyard. The car pulled into the driveway just as Natalie entered the woods. She went farther enough where she could still see the house, but not be seen. She found an old oak tree. She put her backpack behind so she wouldn't have to lug it around. Natalie lost track of the car since she was too busy hiding. Once behind the old oak tree, she turned and began surveying the house as she looked for the car. She was on the side of the house now, where the car drove was out of sight. A few moments later, she saw the car leave. Did Dr. Toller leave in that car? Natalie wondered. I could try to look around the house and see if I can make out if anyone is home. However, if I'm caught, they would have me. And what if Cyrus was telling me was true? They would be able to kill me. Natalie looked around the house. She noticed the woods went around the back, so she figured she would stay in the woods and watch from a distance. Only then would she try to enter the house. So she began to walk around the house, moving through the woods. After several minutes, she came to a spot where she could see the whole backyard. She quickly surveyed to see if she could see anyone or anything that would tell her if anyone was home. She noticed a window partly open on the second floor over the garage. She noted it before she moved on. Natalie made her way over toward the garage so she could check to see if there were any cars inside. There was a good 10 feet between the woods and the garage, so if she didn't move fast, if there was anyone inside, they would see her. After reaching the edge of the woods, Natalie scanned the windows on all the floors in the surroundings several times. Each time, she saw nothing that made her think otherwise, so she stood up and sprinted towards the garage. Once there, she quickly peered through the window and saw no cars. The window she was looking through was dirty, so she moved to the next one and double-checked. Her first view was right, no cars. No cars, Natalie said to herself. So he's most likely not home. Natalie ran back to the edge of the woods. She slowly moved in deeper until she knew no one would see her if she was wrong. After catching her breath, she continued around the house to check to see if she could see anyone. Once she was on the exact opposite of where she left her backpack, Natalie was sure no one was home. So as fast as she could, Natalie made her way back to the big oak tree to figure out what to do next. Once she arrived back at the tree, she noticed the outside doors that led down into the basement. If I could get into the basement, I might be able to listen in on his conversations, Natalie thought. It looks like an old house. I'm sure I could overhear what he was saying. Well, at least if it was on the first floor. Sure of it, Natalie grabbed her backpack. Remembering how heavy it was, she opened it up and pulled out her clothes. She had a plastic bag inside, so she placed the clothes in the bag and placed the bag on the ground and zipped up the backpack. Then Natalie quickly checked around before running over to the basement doors. Once there, she grabbed the handle of the door on her right. She pulled, only for the door not to budge. So Natalie tried the other, only to find that they were both locked. Frustrated, she remembered the window that was partly open on the second floor. She ran around to the backyard. She found the window, but she wasn't sure how to get to it. If she could get on the roof of the garage, she would have no problem reaching it. After scanning the surroundings, she came across some lawn furniture. She ran over, grabbed the white chair, and dragged it over to the side of the garage. Once in the right place, Natalie stood on the chair and grabbed onto the roof. The chair got her close enough so she could reach it, and if it wasn't for all those years of gymnastics, she wouldn't have the upper body strength to lift her up. After lifting herself up on the roof, she walked over to the window. She pushed up the screen so she could climb through. As she was climbing through, she slipped and fell to the floor with a loud bang. She stood, still hoping that no one heard, if anyone was home. After a minute of not hearing any voices, she stood up. The room she was in had nothing in it. Natalie was surprised that a window was open in a room that wasn't being used. However, she didn't think much of it. She walked over to the door and opened it as quietly as she could. She peeked out into the hallway, but didn't see or hear anyone, so she walked down the hall until she came to the stairs. Natalie made her way down the stairs to the first floor. Then she came into another long hallway with several doors. Not knowing where she was going, she just started opening doors in this hallway. As she passed some of the artifacts that were on display, she was amazed by them. She did not look long. She knew she needed to find Kiana and get out as fast as she could. She eventually came to the door to the basement. After carefully closing the door, she made her way down the stairs. Once in the basement, she looked around, trying to find a good hiding place. After glancing over to her right, she saw Kiana lying on a board that was screwed to the wall. She was curled up into a little ball, trying to keep warm, when she heard something. Kiana couldn't believe that her sister was there. She jumped off the board and flew to the cell bars. "I can't believe you came for me," Kiana said. "Quiet," Natalie said. "I don't want anyone to hear you if anyone is in the house." "Oh, sorry," Kiana said. "I figured Cyrus would come for me. Where is Cyrus?" "No," Natalie said. "It's a long story, and I will try to explain it later. Maybe if you are lucky. Cyrus will be able to explain it to you. Where are the keys?" "They're on the staircase hanging from a nail," Kiana said. "Okay," Natalie said. "I'll go find them." So Natalie returned to the staircase and quickly found the keys and grabbed them. She hurried back and unlocked the cell door. Once she opened the door, Kiana grabbed her sister and gave her a big hug. "Thanks for coming for me," Kiana said. "No problem," Natalie replied. "Let's get out of here before someone catches us." Natalie and Kiana headed back towards the stairs when Kiana ran over to a drawer and opened it quickly. She grabbed the box that the scroll was in and closed the drawer. "Kiana, what are you doing?" Natalie asked. "This is the reason why they kidnapped me," Kiana said. "That's the scroll?" Natalie asked. How did you know about it? Kiana asked. Cyrus filled me in earlier, Natalie answered. Oh, Kiana said. Let's take it, Natalie said. This way, if they get you or me, they won't be able to find it. That's what I was thinking, Kiana said. Give it to me, Natalie said. I'll put it in my backpack so we don't have to worry about holding on to it. Kiana handed the box over to Natalie as she opened her backpack. Before she could put it inside, she had to move some of the food around to make space. Once the backpack was zipped up, they headed up the stairs to the big hallway. Natalie knew that the way she got in wasn't going to be the way they got out. As they went through the hallway, they entered into the living room, where she saw a bunch of windows. She quickly opened one in the screen and threw the backpack out. Kiana, you go first, Natalie said. I'll follow after you. Natalie moved so Kiana could get through. As she put her legs through, Natalie heard a noise behind them. She quickly turned and saw Dr. Toller and David standing in the living room entrance. Look, Daniel, Dr. Toller said. We have a visitor for our prisoner. Go, Kiana, Natalie said as she pushed her out the window. Grab the backpack. Natalie turned and noticed there was only one way out of the room other than the way she came in. Natalie took off to the kitchen and flew past the table. Dr. Toller and Daniel tried to follow her, but she was too fast. They got into the kitchen as she stormed up the back stairs. You follow her, I'll take the other stairs, Dr. Toller said. So Daniel went up the stairs as Dr. Toller went around to the front stairs. Once up the stairs, Daniel didn't hear any noise or even see where she went. As he ran around the upstairs, he quickly ran into the vacant room. He knew that the window was open, since he left it open so she could get in. When he got into the room, the door was shut, but not locked. Dr. Toller quickly joined him, and they went inside together. The window was still open, so Daniel peeked out, but didn't see anything. I don't see her, Daniel said, pulling his head back in and shutting the window. She must still be here, David said. She is fast, but not fast enough to get into this room and out the window and off the roof without being seen. She must be hiding, Daniel said. Let's break up and look everywhere. I'm going to call for the drug pens to search the woods just in case she did get away, David said. While Daniel and Dr. Toller were in the vacant room, Natalie made her way down the steps back into the hallway. She knew that if she made any sound, she would give herself away. She walked over to the living room windows and was about to open one when she saw a drag pent walk by. She quickly ran back into the hallway. She ran down to the door that led to the basement. After practically jumping down the steps, she ran over to the basement doors and tried to open them. Something kept them from moving. I need to hide, Natalie said. At least until they think I did get away. She turned looking for a hiding place, but before she could find one, she heard banging on the basement doors as well as crying. It sounded like Kiana. Kiana, Natalie said. Natalie, Kiana replied. Kiana, you need to go, Natalie said. One of those creatures who grabbed you is heading your way. I can't leave you, cried Kiana. You're the one they really want. They made a mistake and thought I was the one that they needed. So, that is what Cyrus was talking about, Natalie said. Kiana, don't worry. You have the scroll. They won't be able to do anything to me unless they have it. I can't just leave you here, Kiana said. Kiana, I hear one of them coming, Natalie said. I need to hide. Go to the woods. I'll be there as soon as I can. Natalie moved from the door and found a big, huge silver pot sitting on the floor against the wall. She knew it would be a tight squeeze, but it would have to do. So she quickly moved the pot and got behind it. Once behind the pot, she moved it enough so someone would have to pick it up to look behind it. She just finished moving it as the door to the hallway flung open. Natalie! Kiana yelled. Are you still there? Kiana began to cry on the basement doors as the drag pent turned the corner of the house and saw her. The creature charged towards her and reached out, about to grab the backpack, when a blade punctured the Dragpen's left shoulder. A yellowish blood sprayed out as the blade broke through the other side. The creature fell with its arms stretched out to the ground. Kiana turned only to see it fall with its hand only an inch away from her. She turned, looked up, and saw Cyrus standing, pulling his sword from the shoulder. He quickly jammed it back into the back right through the chest, killing the creature. He pulled his sword from the lifeless creature and resheathed it. "Cyrus," Kiana said as she stood up. "Kiana," Cyrus replied, "where's Natalie?" "She's trapped inside," Kiana said. "I think they found her. She was just talking to me." "Your sister's fine," Cyrus said. "I need to get you to safety. I'll come back for her, your sister, once I get you out of here." The doors to the basement started to lift up, and Kiana jumped off them as they went back down. "Hurry," Cyrus said. "You are no help to your sister if you get caught." "Okay," Kiana said as she ran over to Cyrus. He picked her up in his arms. Just as he picked her up, the basement doors flung open. Cyrus began to run as two huge bright white wings shot out of his back and took them into the sky. Daniel came out of the basement only to see Cyrus take to the air and quickly vanish from sight. He looked over and saw the dragpent laying on the ground. "David is not going to be happy about this," Daniel said. "Monona won't like it even more." He grabbed the doors and pulled them shut as he walked back down the stairs into the basement. Once the doors were shut, he locked them and headed back towards the stairs. As he walked up them, he saw a huge pot move. Knowing that the pot was heavy and that no rodent would be able to make it move like that, so he quickly walked over to the pot and grabbed a hold of it and pulled it away.
Chapter 13.
Yes.
Overall thoughts on the full chapter.
Way too descriptive.
I know what you're talking about.
There was
the perfect amount of description.
No.
Perfect.
No.
Absolute flawless prose.
Not at all.
No errors. All mistakes were you just because you can't read.
Yeah.
Yeah, the descriptions didn't need. Some of the descriptions, like Natalie exploring the house, did not need to take as long as it did.
No.
If she was discovering some stuff along the way,
Natalie's backpack did not need that much talked about.
It absolutely is
No,
important.
it didn't.
We'll get to my notes about the backpack in a second, but if she was discovering stuff while she's surveying, doing recon of the house, it would make sense to have a little more description. But she doesn't.
Not at all.
She doesn't even discover the way in until she comes back through.
Yeah.
And that's after she sees the cellar doors
Yes.
that are somehow she can't get open.
No, she cannot open them.
Because they're locked.
Yeah.
In or outside. Yeah, I think
somehow.
I was meant to be implying magic.
Magic. Okay.
It's keeping them locked.
Good.
That's why Daniel could open them at the end. Not that we know he has magic or anything.
You added in so many things talking about stuff, but forgot key items like the magic. Also, okay, we got to go through this chapter from the beginning now.
Chapter by chapter.
How did Natalie enter the property? I thought there was a magic wall around it.
That was only to keep Kiana from running away. I said he'll never need that again because no one would ever be stupid enough to come attack him because Monono is there.
But Monono's not there.
Or is he?
Okay, then what is he just sitting in a room off to the side watching TV? He's just like, nah.
See, he was actually in the room right next to the window, taking a snooze.
Yeah, he was just taking a nap.
He's on his cell phone playing. Like, what is this word?
Scrolling on Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts.
Yes, in 2004, 2005.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing. Yep.
I don't even think he'd be on his phone.
No. The smartphone wasn't even existent yet.
He is over there, though, playing Call of Duty.
Yeah. No. He's over there playing Final Fantasy 11.
Ooh, Oh god, that game was dead.
He's the only person playing it.
He's like,
where is everybody?
you know, I'm supposed to go on this 20-person raid,
but can't
there's none of the players on the server.
There's only like 2 people playing it. I thought this was a cool game.
Dude.
Yeah, like a year ago, for America only, and that lasted like 3 months.
Yeah, it was. It died quick.
Yeah, but yeah, he's over in the other room. He's so engaged in that game, Adam. He didn't hear the thump of Natalie falling inside.
Not at all.
No.
He thought it was part of the game. He's got really good headphones.
But Adam, I think you're on the right track of what we have to ask here, but you're too far ahead.
What am I supposed to be asking?
We need to be asking the question of what cab in 2004, 2005 is going to take a 14-year-old girl 45 miles away.
45 minutes.
45 minutes away.
Yep. And pick her up at a hotel.
Pick her up at a hotel. Yes. Now, if it's modern day, that's just Uber. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, she got an Uber.
She has the app. Clearly, parents are okay with this.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah. Also, what 14-year-old girl purposely goes where she might die?
Yeah.
And if she gets caught, and give the bad guy exactly what she wants.
I have the answer for that.
You have the answer?
I have the answer.
What's the answer?
It's a 14-year-old girl in a young adult novel.
Close, but sorry. That's an incorrect, not of a full answer, so you do not get the points. It is a 14-year-old girl who is the main character of a YA novel.
Okay.
Who has become the main character, because the other main character, we don't know what to do with.
He abandoned everyone.
Who abandoned everything, and we don't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
But yes, those things you have to answer first. Then, didn't you have another question about apartment or something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when she looked up the Dr. Toller's address at home, I was like, she went back to the apartment, forgetting that she has her own home that she lives with at her parents'.
Also, it's a crime scene.
Well, yeah, Sage's apartment is definitely a crime scene.
If the body's been found. We don't...
Dude,
we don't know.
Dude, it was an apartment complex. A gunshot went off. You know someone's calling the cops.
Everyone was out, and Mrs. Rose was asleep.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
You know, that's why we can't. She didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Her hearing aid was turned off. So that body's just...
It's still
still there.
BS.
Still there. No one knows.
No, it's not.
It hasn't started decaying yet. Once it starts decaying, then people might start. The cops will be called. So it's clear. As long as she didn't go into the...
There's a crime scene at Sage's apartment still.
There's a crime scene at her home, too. Her parents neglected her. They went
on a trip.
They went on a trip, leaving her with their no good foster brother, who just ups and leaves when a stranger says, "Hey, go over here. You'll get your memories back." Wink.
Oh.
That's a crime scene there.
Yeah.
Neglect.
There are so many bad things that happen in this book. So many things that you just like... You know, if it wasn't in this story, it wouldn't make sense. No. But it's here, so it's okay. We get it.
Well, when you think about any YA novel,
exactly,
it happens. You try to justify it. You try to make it work.
Either the adults are just not even there, or they are the dumbest people possible.
Yes, except for the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they're the bad guy. If they're not a bad guy, then they're like a minion to another teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Who somehow, because they're magic or they have lots of money.
Yeah.
But then the adult is still stupid.
Exactly.
But I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense for why do that. Because why teenagers think their adults are just stupid.
Exactly.
They think they're stupid. So,
which is really hilarious because the book is typically written by adults.
Yes. But they remember when they were teenagers.
Remember when I was a teenager? Yeah, I remember. I remember.
I'm the main character. Oh, sorry. Skylar Grant got into my head.
Skylar Grant.
Yep.
Skylar Grant.
Yep. But yeah. With that there. But I do have to bring up, it's almost like when why Natalie leaves her clothes, it's almost like she has to make room for something. I wonder what that could be. Maybe a box or something.
This is the moment. This is what I was talking about by spending too much time concentrating on this backpack. It doesn't matter. Just put it in there. It's okay.
And then, like, leaving her clothes, it's almost like that's setting up needing them later on.
You didn't need to do that either.
Or did I?
Nope.
Also, I wrote down here, why does she need her clothes? Because she's coming here. Yeah, I get the backpack.
She went home.
Yeah, she went home. But she doesn't need them. That's why I said that. It's almost like she has clothes because she needs to set them up. She's going to need them later on. When she went home, why'd you bring those clothes? Now, it makes sense. If she went right from the the hotel here, she's bringing the backpack that Cyrus brought her.
Yeah, it's got her stuff in it.
She stopped at home to look up Dr. Toller's address.
Which means that she would have probably pulled the stuff she doesn't need out of her backpack, and I don't think she even needed her backpack.
Again, it's like she was setting it up, so needing him later.
Yeah.
I get the idea for food and water, kind of, because Cyrus wants to take them somewhere to protect them.
Oh, yeah.
Not thinking, though he just gave you money and pulled out a wad of cash.
Yeah.
That apparently paid for the cab.
45-minute cab ride.
Yeah, the 45-minute cab. And enough to buy food and some water.
Yeah.
But, like, yes, but, yeah, this is clearly meant to set up for something. Clearly, this is here because I knew I needed the scroll.
Yep.
But I didn't want them to run around with it. But with what happens next in the next chapter was fine.
All right.
Like, we didn't need the backpack.
Oh, good. Good.
But I think at that point, I had set up how I knew we were going, but I didn't know how it was going to play out. Because again, I'm a pantser at this point in my writing career.
You are still certainly
not a pantser.
No.
I was an outliner here, but didn't realize it.
This needs a slight it just needs a streamlining.
Adam, do you also know that the character development of Natalie here?
Oh, she doesn't play just one sport.
No.
She's a gymnast as well.
Yes, she is. Because apparently playing soccer will not give you the strength to do a pull-up.
I mean, you're just really using your legs all the time, so
yes.
It's understandable.
Yes, but it's like
you could have called her a rock climber.
I know. But gymnast made more sense.
Okay.
Have you seen the back of gymnasts?
Oh, no, I do. I get it. It's just, gymnasts pound for pound are the, what's the best word I could... Pound for pound, the best athletes.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because they're just that awesome.
Well, you have to have the control over your body.
Oh, absolutely.
And everything. So, but yeah, it's a lot of this whole thing, like, making room, dropping the clothes. It's like having the backpack in general. I need it for something.
Right.
Thinking I need it. Again, first-time novelist. And actually writing one.
You didn't need it.
And not realizing what I needed. On a second draft and really getting other people's opinions on it, who actually would give advice, because a few people did read it, and they said, that's actually not bad.
Also, I've got other questions regarding this, because, Natalie had a plan after getting Kiana out of her jail cell, which wasn't a cell. It was just a board on the wall.
With bars.
And then there were bars suddenly. You didn't say that she was in a cell. It was just she was laying on a board nailed to the wall, which was kind of a weird thing to hear. Like the description. You could have just said she was laying on a bench attached to the wall.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What happens to those bars that we don't see and never fully get an explanation for later on.
Oh, God. All right.
Yeah.
All right. But
it gets weirder. I set up something. I think there was an actual reason what happens to the bars, but I never actually wrote it out. 'Cause I don't remember.
God.
Like I'm starting to remember a lot of things of how this draft is different from what I remember the one I thought it was.
Ah.
More think about it. Me playing around with the narrative, trying to create a mystery without fully rewriting or
Any of it?
and just writing new stuff to make it fit, and everything. But like, maybe in the original draft there was an explanation for what happened. I don't want to because it's gonna be so funny when it happens.
Oh,
when
good.
we get back, like when you like, it's gonna be like, wait, what? Seeing your face when you go to read it is gonna be hilarious.
Oh, I
think.
can't wait.
You'll be like, wait, what? But yeah, it's a lot of stuff I didn't know, but I thought I needed. It made sense at the time, but if I had other writers who were going to read through it and give me feedback on it, I probably would have gotten a better understanding of it.
You know, you've got 3 bad guys that, as of the last we knew, were all in the house together.
Okay.
Dr. Toller, David.
Yep.
Try to keep to one name.
Nope. Gotta go back and forth.
Because that almost screwed me up at one point. Daniel.
Gotta keep those key names.
And Monono.
Who?
Sorry. Monono!
There we go. It's Monono!
The 3 of them are supposed to be all in the house. And Natalie gets in and is able to rescue Kiana without anyone even... She went from the 2nd floor down to the 1st floor, down to the basement, with no one hearing her or even being like, why's that door open?
The idea behind that was it's a trap.
Well, yes, except for the fact that at no point do you have the trap actually set.
No, the trap was bring her in, get her, and then...
Yeah, but...
I know.
But
The trap would make more sense to do it when they're in the basement still.
right.
But because I think if I remember correctly, I was going with this idea of Dr. Troll. It's trying to set up Dr. Troll as being so smart. We can get it to the point where they're almost escaping when we spring it. And this does set up something in a little bit, I think, in the next chapter.
Yeah. Now we need to talk about that escape. Kiana gets pushed out the window.
Yep.
Natalie is between the window and on the other side of the room. Hey, it doesn't even matter if it's a big room, but on the other side of the room is Daniel and Dr. Toller. Mm-hmm. The window's right there. She goes horror movie style and runs completely away from the easiest exit in the world.
She didn't think she could get out the window fast enough, clearly.
Jump window. I just...
You gotta get a leg out. By the time you get out there, they could have gotten there.
Yeet yourself through it. Dive.
Also, we got some head hopping here.
Yeah, that does happen.
We go from Natalie when she runs off, gets up there to Daniel.
Yes.
Following her. No scene break. Just fades right into it.
Exactly.
When we find out she's not went for the window, we get a scene break back to Natalie. Okay.
Yep.
And then we get her smart enough. Okay. Smart idea for a 14-year-old to think, okay, if I go up there, they're going to think I'm going there.
Yes.
Okay. Let me not.
Go back downstairs.
Let me
the
hide in a
living
different
room
room.
still has a window open in it.
Let me not go into that room. While they're in there. Let me sneak out. Okay, smart. Let's go back to the living room. But not the window that's already open.
No. We need to choose a new window.
You gotta choose a new window. That lets her see a drag pin coming. Okay, makes sense. Well, she's not gonna go out the window now.
Yes.
And then goes back to the basement. Why didn't they try the doors beforehand?
Any of the doors.
I'm talking about the basement doors that she tried outside.
Yeah.
You'd think right there. No. Oh, but now they can't go open. This is where that's supposed to apply magic. Because you can't obviously you unlock it, you push. Some things, okay, magic. We know magic at some point exists.
In my head, I had a moment of Kiana just standing on the doors. And Natalie being like, you idiot, get off the doors. And she's like, I'm trying to help you, sister.
No, it's supposed to imply magic.
Okay.
They're sealed magically.
Yeah, no. There's no implied anything.
And then She gets there, can't get off, gotta hide. Okay, makes sense. Someone's coming. Let me hide.
Silver pot, very large silver pot.
She doesn't go inside.
She doesn't climb inside of it.
It's in position. It's apparently in position. We don't know what's being around it.
No.
But apparently it's covering a spot where she can get behind it and hide. For a teenage girl, a 14-year-old teenage girl.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll buy into it. You're suspending your disbelief.
Yes, just a little bit.
So okay, I can get that. And then immediately jump to Kiana. Scene break. Okay, good.
Okay. Yep.
The whole thing. This is you're gonna bring up the death. Cyrus, the drag pin positioning.
Oh yeah. This is purely a moment of you don't know you're blocking. It's okay. I get that.
Well,
Even though you went to school to be able to do that stuff.
Years later.
Whatever. You went to school for it and you couldn't do it here.
Years later, no.
Anyway, Cyrus, the length of the blade to be able to pierce and go through the shoulder, even if that's the lead shoulder, even if that's the back shoulder, that still by the time when it landed, he and Kiana would not be that far away from each other.
Magic.
She had to run over to him.
Magic.
Yes, he has an incredibly magic long sword. It's 44 feet long.
He's also an angel.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm sorry, surprised you haven't brought up she turned and then
she turned again. Dude,
the idea was that he's stabbing it through the back of the shoulder, coming out while we see the spray. But the whole second turn, I don't know.
She turned to see it happen, and then she turned to see Cyrus,
but also
who would have been in the same line.
But also the reach of the dragman, their arms are long. They drag on the leg.
Even so,
yes. So there is a little bit more distance where she could run over. The idea of her,
she'd get like 4 steps in a run,
but the idea was of her running over is more of she's running to him, not because of the distance, but to get to him quickly. Because she almost got snatched by a drag pin again. And also, how does Cyrus know Natalie's okay?
Look,
it's almost like he has a mysterious way of knowing what things are.
It's almost like he knows everything. Like he's omniscient.
I don't know.
And he keeps being able to be wherever he needs to be. Almost like he's omnipresent.
No. It's clearly just because he's being told by the Almighty where to be and everything, clearly.
Or the writer just needs him to be there, so he's there.
No. It's clearly the Almighty is telling him where he needs to be and everything.
Yeah.
But yes. But then when we see them take off, we jump to Daniel's POV again. No scene break.
Nope. Watches him leave.
And then
goes back inside.
And sees a pot move that is too big for a rodent to move on its own. And moves it. But did Natalie get discovered? Was that thing moving because she was sneaking away while he was distracted?
Yeah.
No. Spoiler alert, she got discovered.
Damn it. Stop giving it up.
I mean, come on. Obviously, this is a cliffhanger. She got discovered.
No, she didn't get discovered. She hasn't been discovered.
Or no,
not in my story.
Not in
my story, she magicked herself away.
But she doesn't have magic.
You know what?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Her magic was working against her. That's why she couldn't.
Well, she is the Godchild.
Exactly.
So she used her Godchild magic.
She didn't even know she was using it.
Okay.
That's how powerful she is. It happens subconsciously. Also,
sure.
Why does Dr. Toller have such a mansion for being an archaeologist and a president of a community college?
No, it's a college.
It's a community college.
I know, but Natalie says it's a college.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
She's 14. She's 14. She's going to think community college, you make a buttload of money.
No, you don't.
Depending on the college.
Yeah, I mean, the president of Harvard might be making some good money, but not a community college in upstate New York, central New York.
You don't know, Adam. Obviously, he's skimming money off the
Oh, absolutely.
off the top. He has a bunch of illegal antiquities that he stole and
see
selling on the black market.
Now I see it. They have a contract. They've been stealing patents from students
Yes,
for decades.
from a community college.
From a community college.
They have some really smart community college. I mean, come on, look at Brad. He's a genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart guy. Got a community college that has a football team.
No.
Clearly doing well.
And a lacrosse team.
No, that's a club.
Oh, that's a club.
Yeah.
It's the lacrosse club.
But clearly they're doing well. They have a football team. And he's smart enough to get the nerd to do his homework for him.
Exactly.
Clearly,
Yep.
they're doing good. Those patents have got to be rolling some dole into the community college.
Millions a month.
A million, yes, clearly. But yeah, I mean, it was a good chapter. Now, do you think this should have been a continuation of the last chapter?
No.
No,
Nope.
you don't think so.
Nope.
Even if you trimmed it down.
Yeah, even if you trimmed it down. I mean, now if you trim down both this chapter and last chapter, you might be able to fit them into one.
That's what I would go for. I think if you trim down the last chapter and you trim down the unnecessary description here.
Really? The unnecessary description here? You could just have her find the window and go right to it.
No, I still think you can still set it up, but you don't need to. It's a summary. She surveyed the house looking for ways in. On her way back, she spots the cellar doors.
Okay.
She didn't find anything. On her way back, she spots the cellar doors. Keeping with the fact that she needs the backpack. Keeping the idea that she needs it. Not that it wasn't unnecessary. It was unnecessary. But keeping with it.
Yep.
You can still do the whole rearranging things before going there.
No, she doesn't need to.
I know she doesn't, but I'm saying...
Doesn't need to whatsoever.
But keeping that element just to say... Again, you could trim that...
How small is this bag anyway?
It's a backpack. What do you expect? For 2004, 2005. Go look it up. Figure it out.
Yeah, I have backpacks from then.
Yeah, you know it, then that's it. It's a girl backpack. Whatever the size was back then. Adam, I'm trying to tell a story here. I can't be bothered with the details of the description. Come on. Everyone knows you gotta leave it open for the reader's imagination.
Yeah.
Except for when I decide to beat by beat tell you exactly what's going on. That you can't do. It's only certain things you can leave up for imagination. Unimportant details that require research? No, you leave it up to the reader's imagination.
Yeah. Beat by beat walking through the woods and rearranging a backpack. That is what's needed.
Yes. No. The house part you need. That part you can summarize. And so that's why you can stack the chapter before it together as one chapter.
Yeah.
Also, it's clearly, Adam, as much as Dr. Toller wants to make it look like it was a trap this entire time, no. See, what I had to cut from here was Natalie, the reason why I took the box, Kiana really wanted it. And she was throwing a fit about getting the box.
And you were like, I got to cut that out.
I cut it out.
And cut that out.
See, actually, Dr. Toller and Daniel weren't actually there the whole time. That car that left, they were going to set up the actual message in way to lure Natalie to. They actually were walking in on them leaving, not realizing, and they sold it like it was all part of the plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all part of the plan.
They randomly they were just going to hang out in the living room.
Yep.
As two dudes.
They're coming back there. They may have had some lunch while they were out as well.
Oh yeah.
But they went 45 minutes, and they came back. That's like that whole trip around. 45.
That took forever.
Yep. 20 minutes to get from where she came in down to the basement. And then 20-minute argument with Kiana over the box before she just caved in and put it in the backpack. 5 minutes to get from the basement up to the living room. Because you got to make sure that no one's watching.
No, of course.
You gotta get cautious. All that. That's how long it took. I figured it was taking too long. We'll just hint at that.
Oh.
As for the chapters become before it, do you think it set up well, at least? From what we get.
Yeah.
Any kind of setup. I mean, it does set it up. Could have been set up better.
Mm-hmm.
Could, the whole part of no, saying we can use her against her and actually set that up and gave her a reason to come there.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. But it's missing. It happened off screen.
I know.
Clearly, it happened off screen.
Yeah. Also, you could have had Monono actually in here.
He was busy.
Like, there were some massive shadows in the basement, and when Natalie opened the cell door, that's when Monono springs the trap.
He was off doing other stuff.
Playing Call of Duty up on his TV.
Yes.
On the 3rd floor. That's why you didn't hear Natalie on the 2nd floor. He's got a really good computer setup.
He was busy doing other stuff as a fallen archangel and part of his plan.
Yeah, whatever those things were.
He's got to throw the Great Dragon off his trail. Yeah, that.
He went
and
to
the
Pizza
Almighty.
Hut. Actually, he had to go do his shift at Pizza Hut.
No, you're late.
He's like, I will curse you. You really should stop smoking. Shut up.
When I get my hand on the Godchild and I am the Almighty, you will pay for this.
Okay, we're backed up on orders. Get right on the line.
Sure, Monono. Will you stop doing that? Sure, Monono.
I hate it when you do that.
But until that time, where you're the Almighty, you have to listen to me.
I'm still your manager.
I'm still your manager, and I'll get to work. Those pizzas are gonna make themselves.
I can just see it now. He's all tall, kind of gangly, always like leaning in a way that you're just like, you just look off-putting. And you're like, oh great, we got another one of these weirdos working here. There's the one kid that's always wearing a trench coat. It's like,
yeah.
I think he's really cool. Monono's like, I hate you too.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
All right, let's wrap this episode up. What are your thoughts on this chapter? Do you think there's unnecessary description here? What would you cut out or sum up? Do you think that it should be merged with the chapter before it? Assuming you listen to that one and it's not your first chapter. If it is, when you get to that, go listen to all the other chapters first again and then find out. Let us know. Comment down below. If you made it this far, clearly you got here, you were interested, why don't you go and hit that like button? Sacrifice that like button as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got writing content on this channel, which will be on screen now. Whatever you pick, we'll see you there. But if you're in mood for some bad gameplay, go check out Adam's channel. Again, they're the worst.
We'll love seeing you there.
Yeah, whatever content of mine you pick, we'll see you there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.